Hey everyone, David Trungale here from tradertours.com/golf. This video will show you the before and after progress of a couple of students of mine. We can see that this type of swing, it's going to be very difficult to be consistent. This individual was struggling with hitting a lot of hooks that went way left and also some notable blocks out to the right. Average score was 110, and this was filmed during spring. So 3 months later, after a couple of lessons and working with him on some drills, this is the aftermath. So as you can see, clearly a much better swing. Average score for 18 holes went down to a 90. So that's a 20-shot differential. Keep in mind the National Golf Foundation states the average score for 18 holes is 100. So I think it's pretty cool that I was able to work with somebody who was worse than average and inside of 3 months became better than average. Now, there's still plenty to work on in the swing, but I have to remind myself that he was content with bogey golf, and not everybody has the goal of going out and shooting par. He was somebody who was golfing about once per week. So let's take a closer look, though, at some of these changes that were made. All right, so here we are from the down the line view. Take note of the red line that I drew on the shaft plane. It's pretty common when teaching. By the way, the term plane, it's really a golfer's terminology for an angle. So you'd like to see the hands and the club work directly up that red line or that plane. What we can see with my student, what he was doing was lifting it way out above the plane, the hands and the club head. So the club head's actually outside of the hands as well. So that will spell disaster for most people. Also, there is some alignment issues going on with the feet. Now, on the left, as he's going up towards the top, this yellow line that I drew that's dissecting the torso, take note on the way down how that got more vertical, which is not a good thing. So if you hear the term early extension coming out of your posture, this is really what it means. You know, you might call it posterior pelvic tilt or losing hip depth, but the pattern that I see on the way down, the head moves that way. In other words, the head backs up away from the ball while the lower body simultaneously shoots out towards the ball. And when you combine that with that reroute action to the inside, that would explain the excessive blocks to the right, some of the snap hooks. I will tell you, though, that he's a real strong kid. When he was able to put the club on the ball and manipulate the club face, he would fly at 300 yards in the air before any lessons. So anyways, we can also see just how high the arms were. The right elbow is pulled way behind him. The left arm is up over the face like that. Very minimal wrist hinge. So all sorts of stuff to work on. And here is the progress that you saw in the video earlier. So take note, at halfway back, the left arm is nicely across the chest. Hands are in great shape. Club's on a very nice plane, whereas over here, again, way out in front, the shaft is steep, and also notice how I helped him get his feet more square to the target. So everything about this image on the right looks better, and this is an important concept to teach, and for anyone who wants to learn. Check out how he gained angle here. So he increased the tilt or the turn, but simultaneously the arms are more compact or flatter. So once again, see how this is more upright, not much of a turn, not much of a tilt, but yet the arms are once again way up behind him. Club face was extraordinarily closed before, whereas here it's nice and square. Just every single aspect of this backswing on the right looks better to me. So here is Justin Rose on the right. successful PGA player, and of course he's still out there playing these days, doing well. And here's my student. We can see some similarities in the positions here. Arms are very conventional. See that angle here? Just looks really, really good. Club face nice and square. So it's not imperative that your right elbow is totally in front of the body. I just would prefer that it's lower and in front and your hands aren't too high, just because the higher your hands lift, it's simply easier to screw up on the way down, right? There's a lot of ways that you can get off plane or make mistakes with high hands. Even though that, yes, there are certain people that have had successful tour careers with high hands, such as Jim Furyk. The problem is my student, myself, and the person listening to this is not Jim Furyk. So, lastly, I want to look at one other student of mine from the other view, which we call the face-on view, to show some other progress that is pretty awesome. Alright, so here's another student. This gentleman sent his swing in online. I'm just going to do a quick overview. This is from the face-on view, some still images, and he knew right away that he was swaying off the ball and was able to pick at some of the aspects of his swing that he saw as problematic. And this happens where sometimes people are aware of what's going on, but for one reason or another they're struggling to actually make the change, and that's where I try and come in with the lessons and be crystal clear on what exact drills to do and just communicate effectively. So this was the aftermath within 7 days over here on the right. Pretty remarkable stuff, if you ask me. I don't know how many hours a day he was working on this in within that 7-day span. I would speculate it's a lot. Definitely a very driven guy to make these type of changes so rapidly. Just to show you with these lines, previously the right leg was really locking back, straightening up on the backswing. Here he has a very nice brace into the right leg. We can see a little bit of flex. His concern about swaying off the ball is pretty much non-existent. I would give that a solid 9, maybe even 10 out of 10. As far as the upper body turn goes, previously the hands, you can see how that right hand was threatening to get behind his baseball cap there. The arms were disconnected. He cleaned that up. The club face before was so closed that you can't even really see it, and I know that the woods in the background are perhaps obscuring the image, but it certainly looks way better over here. So this is sincerely a lot of improvement for a week. Can imagine he probably hit a ton of golf balls and did the drills that I advised. So final slide before I sign off. We can see my student on the left, Matthew Fitzpatrick in the middle, PGA Pro. Of course, Tiger Woods on the far right before he was injured. So Fitzpatrick, he has a slight lean off the ball there. Tiger has pretty much a perpendicular angle with his turn. And that's not totally necessary, obviously, to play great golf, but I just like to try and teach positions that are efficient because it simplifies the swing and it will take a player and put them in a spot where they don't have to solely rely on talent or making some sort of a compensation to, hit the ball straight. So we can see the angle that he has created with the arms and the wrists. That's reminiscent of a Fitzpatrick in this particular shot. The turn looks great. Pretty neat stuff. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and whether you're a 30 handicapper or you're playing on a mini tour somewhere at a +3 index, be happy to work with you. Just send in your swing. tradertours.com/golf. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.